Am I the butthole for not quitting the guild with my husband? We have been married for 12 years, together for 15. Up until the events of the last year, I was not really big into video games or gaming, but with being locked up in the house and not being able to really do things that we normally did together, my husband got me into online gaming with him. Normally my husband is a very quiet and reserved person, but when he games, it's like a switch flips, and he just becomes a different person. My character is a low level, so he does runs with me on a different low level character he has, so we can play together. Last night we did a dungeon with a group of people who were new to our guild or just made new characters, also low level like me. The healer was not good as he is still learning, and my husband lost his mind because we kept dying. Slamming his fists on his desk, yelling in Discord the works. It was really annoying to me. I am the type who when we die, says keep going until we get it. He is the type who gets enraged and yells. We have had multiple conversations about this. I have told him repeatedly that his attitude/behavior ruins the game for everyone, but he just says if people didn't suck he wouldn't get so mad. Last night, I absolutely had it with his yelling and cursing. I play these games to relax and have a good time, and I find it irritating that we cannot have a single session without him acting like this. So I mentioned it to one of my online friends, who is also in our guild, and they agreed that my husband's behavior was problematic. Our GM messaged him and told him that he was getting complaints about him and basically said that he was on thin ice, and if he kept it up he would be kicked out. My husband basically told him that he didn't care and quit, and then demanded that I do the same. I told my husband that I was not going to quit, that his attitude and behavior are the reason people, including me, do not want to play with him, and that if he wants to continue this hobby together as a couple, he either needs to get therapy for his anger issues, or we need to find a new game to play that will be less rage-inducing for him. He called me a traitor and is now saying that he doesn't want to play games with me anymore. Am I the butthole for not quitting too? Not the butthole. Sounds like your suggestion of therapy is a really good idea. Anger like that at a video game isn't normal or healthy. ETA. So I feel like I should say that getting angry at video games is part of the experience, sometimes a very deliberate choice from the designers. But the level of anger we are hearing about while someone is leveling an alt character, as opposed to endgame progression or elite PvP, makes the level of anger and the way it was expressed beyond what I would consider normal. Some of the comments here are great though. In terms of most rage-inducing experience in games, mine is being in the water temple in Ocarina of Time for 6 hours. ETA number 2. Okay, all the people coming in to comment about laughing out loud. It's literally the poster child for toxic gaming communities. Nothing that goes on in that community counts as normal. Easy to say that until you miss a 3-foot putt in Tiger Woods 08 and you lost a $20 bet and have to clean the bathroom because your roommate absolutely played out of his mind. Damn you Drew, I'll never forgive you, you rat bastard. Easy to say when you lose a 1v5 in Rainbow Six and your teammate's team kill you for not clutching it. Easy to say when you drive off Rainbow Road. Edit. Thanks everyone for the awards. That's the worst. Banshee Boardwalk has entered the chat. That road is a special type of hell. At least Rainbow Road was cool. Ha ha ha, first year in college, sweet mates and I would play Mario Kart 64 emulated from the one guy's MacBook. The one guy who owned the MacBook, Max, would get pissed. I was happily playing Xbox in my room when he would yell "F you Donkey Kong" laughing out loud. Fast forward to chemistry class in a lecture hall that next week. Someone was getting some practice in, smirking face, headphones in, middle of class. Sly dog. Then I heard it, and everyone else. F you Yoshi. Yup. Forgot he was in class. Mario Kart Double Dash is the only video game I ever played with regularity, and that was 10 years ago. I still have nightmares where I'm in the cart with Toadette driving along Rainbow Road trying like hell to dodge banana peels without falling into the void. Pain. I heard my husband yelling "Batman you tugger." What I would say is, anger at video games is normal. Directed anger at other players is not normal or healthy. Yelling expletives because your party wiped to a raid is completely normal. Yelling at the healer is not, even if it really is the healer's fault. The productive time to bring up stuff like that is way afterwards when you can calmly discuss what the problem is and what needs to improve, Don't take your understandable anger at the situation and redirect it towards a person. Also, the player that he is mad at is a noob. Getting upset at an inexperienced player or character is very different from getting angry at an experienced player that destroyed 36 hours of gameplay doing something stupid. You aren't helping the newbie at all. This so much. If you're helping lower level characters, actually help them. I don't know why that's such a hard concept. Do you know what helps me improve? Getting yelled at with irrational anger. I hate that get good mentality. I'm working to improve. A snarky attitude doesn't help my motivation. He is making an active choice to playing with low-level inexperienced players instead of playing endgame content with a competitive guild of experienced players. He already knows that they're going to be bad and make tons of mistakes, but he yells at them anyways. He isn't trapped playing these players, he has the choice to interact with them or not, and yet he keeps choosing to team W them and rage at them. Wild. To add to this, his response of "if other people didn't suck I wouldn't get mad" says that he thinks it's everyone else's responsibility to manage his emotions. It's not. Getting upset at a video game or a fellow player is understandable, but he has to learn to manage his feelings himself, rather than making them other people's problem. Bonus stars in Mario Party, that's all I'm saying. So I'm going to have to admit that Mario Party is its own special form of anger management training. I just said Water Temple Ocarina of Time out loud and my teenagers just yelled hell, absolute hell, and proceeded to tell me why for 10 minutes. Apparently you have never played Mario Kart and have gotten blue shell to effing oblivion 2 feet from the finish line. Not the butthole, and your husband's behavior does nothing to help. So is a raid leader, and I know he gets frustrated, but instead of screaming and banging fists, he calmly asks for feedback and offers ideas for why something went badly and how that can be resolved. Because it is an effing video game and you can res your character. Your husband's attitude is awful, and he shouldn't care about being out when he thinks he is so much better than the rest of the guild. If this is WoW Classic, you are Alliance, and want another friend, DM, smiley face. Original poster replies. This is how I feel. It's a game, it's fake, it has zero effect on real life, except for when he starts getting angry. If we die and then try again. I honestly do not care that much. He also seems to be forgetting that while the game isn't real, the other people you're playing with are. It's one thing yelling at pixels, but yelling at other humans is butthole behavior. Anyway, not the butthole. Yelling at the game is acceptable. Yelling at a player is a dick move. Especially low-level players when they are learning and increasing their skill. Hubby and I play together, and he is much better than I am at some games, and the reverse is true on others. We made a pact at the beginning to never yell at anyone for their play. We get a lot of joy out of protecting other players though. We will verbally beat the crap out of them till they rage quit. Want to invite us to your next game? People like Op's husband are the reason I don't play MMOs anymore. I have hand problems that make intense combat in games a lot more tricky, plus I'm already not a very experienced player. Trying to learn an ESO was painful, because people act like this even when given warning that you're new and not good, and the stakes are super low. That kind of behavior really ruins it for a lot of people. I play WoW, which sounds similar to what you have described, and, simply put, you are a good player, and he is a toxic player who ruins the game experience for others. He needs to play with his elite buddies only who are of the same mindset as him. It is always puzzling why these pro players get abusive when running normal or low-key dungeons. You want to play with pros, push really high-end content, don't look for perfection among casual players. Not the butthole. I play WoW and I'm a relatively okay player. I know where my limits are. But I'm still learning. My guild has a weekly normal raid where they take people to learn the basics of raiding, as well as putting together groups to try mythic dungeons. Focused yet very casual, rarely ever frustration when we wipe. I think I've caused at least 2, and a lot of laughter. This group was the first where I went, raiding and keys aren't all that bad, so I'm really getting into the endgame stuff at a nice pace. Would I ever do raiding or mythic outside the guild in a pug? Hell to the no. I'm happy in my safe guild bubble. If you've caused 2 wipes, you aren't trying. You need to listen up and pay attention. Causing 2 wipes is completely unacceptable at any level of play in WoW. Shoot for 5 to 10 wipes a night, step your game up. Not the butthole. GM was more than fair. Husband decided to rage quit, none of this should extend to you. He needs to sort out his anger issues, games are supposed to be fun. Info, just for my own curiosity, what role is your husband's character? I'm assuming it's either tank or DPS? Original poster replies. He plays a tank. I play a mage. His low-level character is a mage like mine. So in this particular dungeon your husband was DPS? In that case your husband was a major Rule of thumb, if the tank dies it's the healer's fault, if the healer dies it's the tank's fault, if the DPS die, it's their own damn fault. If you wipe, it's everyone's fault because you're a team. You all need to help each other, this was a new healer probably doing their best. Wipes are all part of the learning process. It's also worth remembering he can't go charging in like a tank while he's playing a squishy mage, it's a whole different dynamic. He should have been keeping his wits about him and using his abilities to mitigate any damage coming his way. Mages have a lot of aggro stealing abilities, it's his job to hold back and let the tank do his thing. I'm sure when he plays his main tank role he would not be pleased having a DPS playing like him in his dungeon taking it out on the healer. Original poster replies. I die a lot. It's almost funny to me, not to him, but I laugh about it. I call the bad guys magnets because they always seem to come after me. The more I learn the better I get though, so I am hoping to get better with time. Trust me, as a mage, you're the magnet pal laughing out loud, the mobs will love you. But this is why it's important to work as a team in dungeons. And you should laugh, it's a game laughing out loud. The only thing more tasty than mage is priest nougat. Rule of thumb, if the tank dies it's the healer's fault. Until you get the tank who doesn't even have tank gear on, has no idea what cooldowns are, and or pulls wall-to-wall packs without considering their healer's own gear/experience level. Not the butthole. If you like your guildmates, you like your guildmates. Plus, he was being in butthole. Is this World of Warcraft? There's literally no reason to get that mad at low-level dungeons, assuming this is WoW. I'm sure it's the same for other MMOs if it isn't. Plus, you can still do stuff with people. Not in your guild. Like your husband. Original poster replies. Yes, it is WoW. I really like it and I do have a lot of fun. I work a very stressful job, and it has been my escape from that. Nice. WoW has so much to do, it's a great game for that. That said, I should have mentioned that his behavior isn't really something I'd find acceptable in any level of content, not just low-level dungeons. I don't put up with that in my mythic raiding guild, either. Your current guild sounds reasonable, and you can always make new friends leveling with them. You should be able to have a nice, relaxing time leveling. That's what I look for when I do it. Leveling dungeons are certainly not something to get mad over, especially when 90% of them you can just ignore every mechanic. Original poster replies. That's literally the only reason I play. I just want to have fun and relax and forget about the stress of the day. He called me a traitor and is now saying that he doesn't want to play games with me anymore. Yikes. Your husband is so completely out of line here. Obviously, you're not a traitor, but it probably is a good idea that he stops playing games with you from now on, since he is unwilling to get a grip and tone down his unhinged, rage-filled outbursts. I mean, that just sounds so miserable. You should keep playing the games by yourself, though, since you use it as a way to unwind and have fun. Your husband, however, needs to take a giant step back, because when he is a part of your team, the game becomes the exact opposite of relaxing and fun. Edit, not the butthole, obviously. Not the butthole people like your husband are the ones that have ruined WoW's community and made it such an crafty and toxic place to be that people like me have just given up after 14 years of playing. They've chased away all the competent people who don't feel like dealing with raging buttholes, so basically all that's left are newbies who haven't been chased off yet and people like himself. If you have a good guild with people you enjoy playing with, do not give it up just to follow his toxic butt around. And I hope you love and enjoy Azeroth as much as I used to. Not the butthole. Your husband needs to get to the root of his anger issues. It's not really about the game. Not the butthole. He needs to calm down. It's just a game. I hate those people who think that everyone must be perfect and go full rage mode when someone doesn't have the same mastery of the game they do. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe to be the first to know about Red Rabbit Reader's new videos. If you like our videos, please like them on YouTube and share them with your friends. We welcome your comments below. Press to start another of our videos.